one last thing, like literally if you take away any piece of advice from this video, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alli Valdez, aka The Modern Actress, and welcome back to this week's episode. If you don't know who I am already and you're new to this channel is dedicated to all acting and entertainment industry related news, as I am an actress out here in LA. I created this channel to share with you my advice as I'm going through things as a new working actor in this entertainment industry. In this industry in general. If you haven't already, please go and jump over to my life since moving to LA video where I share all the good and the bad that I've gone through and how I'm still doing today. Without further ado, today's topic is talking all about how I got my agent. So this was a highly anticipated video. I got a lot of DMs about this. A lot of my friends from back home asked me about this, and then a lot of my actor friends, we like talk about this all the time. So let's get started. So before I start, I just wanted to share I actually have 2 agents, but really right now all I'm really focusing in on is but right now all I'm focusing in on Right now, all I'm focusing on is my agents. I have 2 agents. One is my commercial agent with a different agency. So he is based here in LA. My second agent is my theatrical agent, and she's actually my theatrical agent back in New Mexico. Anyway, so those are the 2 that I have, and they kind of have like different stories on how I got to them, so I'll share that next. So how I got my commercial agent was simply done through self-submission and finding his email contacts through IMDb Pro. And I just searched and filtered on the platform any commercial agents in Los Angeles, and then I was looking for like sort of the middle tier of commercial agents. So I knew I wasn't ready for the top tier, but I didn't want to settle for less and apply to like a lower level agency just because I didn't know like how credible they would be and how they could help my career. I just plopped down on my computer and got to submitting. I had a headshot and my resume at the time. I don't have any commercial credits on my resume, but I still sent it in. Which pro tip, you should never have your credits listed on your resume for commercial work. For the example of like, let's say you get a commercial opportunity for Ford, but you've already booked a commercial with like Toyota. So that's like a competing company. Don't let that be discouraging if you don't have any commercial credits, because that's fine, because you shouldn't have your commercial credits on your resume anyways. I didn't know that, but I'm happy I do know that now. So I just submitted to him, and it took a while for him to get back to me. As you get more familiar with how this industry works, you're going to have to understand it's all a numbers game. So he was one of the few that reached back out to me, and he set up a time for me to sit down and come to his office and meet with him one-on-one. I was so nervous because I had only been living in LA for like literally like a couple of like months, and then I went to meet my commercial agent. When I walked in, his office had like a waiting area, and there was like a bunch of signs everywhere, and it had like instructions on like what to do, like where to sign in. There was like a sample like line that you had to read, and so it was just like, oh, get familiar with this like sample read, and you know, let's see what you got. So in the waiting room, there was a bunch of different people who were waiting to talk to him. Finally, my name was called, and I was as nervous as literally like a clam. Like, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. First of all, like, I got super duper dressed up because I come from like a pageant background. So I'm like used to like pageant interview, like hair, makeup, like you wear your nicest things, you wear heels. Like when I walked into that waiting room, there was like a ton of people in just like literally ripped jeans and sneakers, and like they had just gotten off of their barista shift, it looked like. So anyways, I just felt like I was just like, I was like a nerve of balls. I didn't know what I was doing. So I walked in, and I think the line was like, oh, what is that over there? And I like, I don't even know what I did, but I know I was just like so extra and like so dramatic, but it was not cute. But he was fine with it. He gave me a couple of notes, and he was like, okay, like let's pretend you are on your wedding day, you're dressed in your veil and your gown, and like deliver the line. And so then I delivered my lines, and that was it. He said, okay, thank you. And that was that. And I was like, well, shoot, I never this is it. I bombed it. But then they called me back and they offered me a contract, and then I got signed with him. That's how I signed with my commercial agent. I was such a green bean. I was so raw and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but obviously I did something right. So my second story is about how I got my theatrical agent in New Mexico. And I just want to first preface with this, is like, I come from a business strategy background. I have my degree in business administration, so I think very strategically. And again, since this is my career, like, I sought out all sorts of opportunities that I would know would kind of benefit me in the long term. So I'm talking like not so much networking, but just like making friends along the way. So by doing that back in New Mexico, when I was getting my feet wet and booking smaller projects, I met someone who knew someone, basically. And I know that's like really crappy to say, that like it's all about who you know, but honestly, like, that's how I got my theatrical agent. I knew someone who knew her that could give her a referral. And I was very fortunate that my agent took my meeting and was so excited to chat with me. My referral gave like a glowing recommendation. So I guess I did something right there. And then I had a phone call with my theatrical agent. She liked me. She thought we could vibe really well. She saw a lot of potential in me, and she took me on. Again, I was a green string bean and like was so new to the industry. She didn't have to do that. She could have very much been like, oh, I'm really looking for experienced actors who are union and like have something on them. But she was willing to gamble on me, and I'm so forever thankful for her to have her on my team because she believes in me. So that's how I got my theatrical agent. Again, it was through industry referral. So again, like, I think very strategically. So as you are advancing in your career, just find opportunities to not even like network, because I feel like that's such a harsh term, but like make friends along the way, because you never know like who your friends could lead you to. Just do it with a genuine heart, and don't do it maliciously. Like, lead with your heart, not lead with like a second agenda, is I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I understand like the frustration on your end. You're sitting here probably thinking like, okay, Alli, like, I don't have connections. Like, how do I start? And so like my first tip to that is like, if you're not starting, just start. Like, if you're not like putting yourself out there and like willing to like own into like this as a career, like, you're gonna like not really go anywhere. I didn't start taking myself seriously as an actor until like I was proud to say I was an actor, because I like lived in this like imposter syndrome of like, oh, like I don't really have anything on my resume, and I'm like telling people I'm an actor. Well, my acting coach put it to me like this. He was like, well, first of all, you're investing in your career by being here in an acting class. You invested your whole life to uproot yourself from New Mexico to move to LA to be in this industry. Why the heck are you not saying you're an actor? Just because I'm not on film and TV today doesn't mean I'm anything less of that. And so I think that's when it like really hit me on the head, is like, though I work at a restaurant or though I'm an assistant, like, I know in my heart that this is where my heart lies in the arts. Like, I'm going to be proud to tell people I'm an actor. And let that be, if it's not acting, let it be music or writing or songwriting or like literally anything that you're like afraid that you think is like a hobby that you're trying to pursue. Like, I guarantee you, the moment you start like thinking of it as like your business and your job and your career, like everything will just like fall into its place, and like people will believe in you only if you're believing in yourself. So in terms of like getting an agent, like, you have to in your heart like know this is your career and this is what you believe and this is what you want. And you're only going to get there if you believe it yourself, because how can you ask someone to represent you if you're just like, this is a hobby, I don't take myself seriously? Like, this is a business. At the end of the day, this is your career, and people want to work with people who are going to work. And I want to work with somebody who I know is going to work for me, and I would expect for them to want to work with me because they know I'm ready to work and be a part of their team. So again, like, just keep continuing to put yourself out there and don't shy away from that. Like, you don't have to confine to anyone else's standard. Like, own into what you are and who you are and believe in yourself. Like, I'm so proud to say, like, I'm from New Mexico, like, I'm Hispanic, like, I'm 5'1", like, literally, like, all these little, like, quirkinesses to me. Like, sometimes I ramble and like stutter on my words and like get like mushy, but like that's who I am. Where like sometimes I get like really overexcited about like anything, and that's just like who I am. Like, just lean into that and keep leaning into that, because I guarantee you your energy will radiate and people will start to take notice. Again, just other tips, like, I got my commercial agent by soliciting an email to him. Like, just keep using tools that'll get you in the inboxes of people. Even on Actors Access, like a buddy of mine self-submitted to a really big project that he booked. He wasn't even represented, and he booked this project and got really great managers and agents because of that. It's because like he's putting himself out there. Like, the common thread of this all is like, keep going forward and pushing forward and believing in yourself, because I guarantee you, like, people will notice. Again, if you didn't watch my video last week, which you should, that covers everything from like self-submitting yourself to on Actors Access, booking things, like making sure your resume and your profile is polished and ready, because you never know who's looking at your social media. You never know who's looking at your Actors Access. Like, I just got like a notification that some like talent agency like followed me on Instagram, and that's like cool because like they recognize my platform and they see me as like an actor. So though I work at a restaurant and a personal assistant, like, I am confident in radiating that like this is my art and these are just like my circumstances right now, but that's not going to define me. One last thing, like literally, if you take away any piece of advice from this video today, let it be known that you should not pay your agent. All right, like that's the biggest thing I want you to understand as a new actor. Like, you should never be paying your agent. And people are like, well, don't you have to pay for your agent to like get representation? No. Like, you never pay for your agent, and if anyone is saying like, give me $10,000 and I'll represent you, like, run away as fast as you can, because that is a major scam. And it's really unfortunate that people think that they can take advantage of people who don't know what this entertainment industry is like. That almost happened to me when I was younger, but my family squirmed away from that. Your agents only get paid when you book something. So they take a percentage of what the booking price is. So like, I don't even know. Let's say you book a $10,000 commercial contract. Your agent can take a percentage of that, and that's often in your contract. It's either like 10%, 15%, or like 18%, like depending on your union status. Like, it's different if you're like non-union versus union. But anyways, that's how they get paid, is so they want to work for you so they can continue to get paid, and vice versa. Like, you want them to work for you because you want to book things and get paid. When I was younger, I almost got scammed into a commercial agency that was like, oh, you'll be on Hannah Montana, like you'll be on Drake and Josh. And I was 6 years old and I was so excited to have an agent in Hollywood. And fortunately, I had a cousin who works out here in the entertainment industry, and he was like, skeet, no, that's a scam. So if you hear radio announcements, Instagram ads, like literally anyone's like, oh, give me money to be your agent, run as far as away from them as you possibly can, because they are not good people and they do not have good intentions if they're like making you pay for something that doesn't work like that. So I got really heated there because I want everyone to know that, and I don't want people to be taken advantage of and taken for granted, because like, this is such a huge industry that everyone is trying to get into. Like, I don't want messy people entering into your life. So be very smart about that. So anyways, that's all for today's topic. This is how I got my commercial agent and my theatrical agent. This is kind of a little bit of leading into just like my self-worth and like how I want you all to like feel positive and confident in your own skin. So that is all for today. We'll see you next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, notification bell, hit me on Instagram, hit me on the YouTube. I need to get better at these outros because I suck at it. But anyways, we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.